20.
It's May 24, Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform continues its operation, and now we will be talking about the enemy shelling of Kherson region. Joining us online is Oleksandr Tolokonnikov, the spokesman for Kherson Regional Military Administration. Mr. Oleksandr, good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, Mr. Oleksandr, the enemy doesn't cease shelling the Kherson region, not for a single day. So what is the aftermath of the most recent shelling? Well, just for yesterday, the enemy inflicted shellings in the 13 towns and villages, including Kherson, including Zolotobanka, Mykilske, Pridnipranske. Stanislav is under constant shelling, Vesele, Kozatske. As a result of the strike, for the time being, we know about one casualty, a woman of 83 years in Srebnokilske, who was lightly injured with acute stress reaction. She was provided the medical aid right on spot. Also yesterday, around 10 o'clock, the Russians dropped a guided aviation bomb in Tazhinska community. Without casualties, they continue ruining our infrastructure, residential areas. Yesterday, 11 residential buildings were damaged due to the enemy shellings. And what is the condition of the critical infrastructure? What is the situation with the electric power and water supply in Kherson and Kherson region? Well, just today I was looking through the report saying that yesterday about 150 electricity technicians were trying to restore what was destroyed during the times of occupation, and now out of 228 settlements, about 40 are without electric power supply in the areas along the current of the Dnipro River, specifically Berislav, which is our real pain. They stay without electric power supply due to the constant drone attacks that continue destroying the transformers and power transportation substations. The enemy continues using the loitering drones to inflict damage on the energy infrastructure in Berislav district, and we are still unable to re-establish it. The water is being supplied there with the help of the generators in accordance with the schedule. There is power and water supply in Kherson. And talking about other settlements, almost 88 of those with gas supply are getting it. So talking about the reconstruction programs, I'm talking about residential areas, critical infrastructure, educational facilities. So how is this program going on? Well, unfortunately, we cannot do any reconstruction in the areas along the current of Dnipro River. About 3,500 families have received 1,150,000,000 hryvnias of reimbursement, of compensation. The program is underway. The people keep applying for it. Unfortunately, the program is not in force in the areas along the current of Dnipro River, but as soon as we push the enemy away from the east bank, the program will be resumed there. Hopefully the program will continue. We will be able to actively rebuild the infrastructure in residential areas. The people really enjoy it. We've got serious help and support from 15 other regions of Ukraine. Different initiatives were implemented for active reestablishment of this program in Kherson region. We continue repairing the schools at cost of the budget money, and other foundations, charity foundations that get involved in funding of repairing and restoration of the schools, including the restoration of the bomb shelters, with which now all of the educational institutions, including schools and kindergartens, are supposed to be equipped with. So do you have any information about the number of the schools that are equipped with the bomb shelters, and how many more are supposed to be built until the end of this summer, before the beginning of the curriculum year? Well, I cannot give you the exact figure, but we were accepting we commissioned a couple of them in Chernobyl, Kapozikivsky district, and the work is underway in such places as Velika Oleksandrivka. There is one bomb shelter already ready, and the works are in the phase of finalization in Arkhangelsk. The re-outfitting is done. We just need to add equipment to it, and there are more works to be there, repairing works to be done in the school itself. So talking about the situation in temporarily occupied part of Kherson region, about the crimes committed by the occupiers, it just came to our knowledge that they've stolen another shipment of grain. And do you have any information about the pillage of Ukrainian cultural heritage? Well, in some cases they just steal it, in some cases they buy it for almost nothing from the people, because people have no funds to subsist themselves. Also, they require graft, like 10-15% that are supposed to be paid to them by the sellers of the grain or other agricultural products. And I think they're not gonna stop at that. They will go all the way to 50%, because nobody impedes them. The system doesn't work there. I mean, the law doesn't work there. It's only the Russian military who are present there, and they are ready to use their weapons for terrorism and pillaging. The situation is very difficult with the agricultural producers. I'm sure the people ended up in critical situation there. Well, not only the agricultural producers, but generally the population. The problem is quite extensive in terms of supply of food products. They are at least twice as expensive as in the other parts in Ukraine. Also, there is a huge problem with the medicines. People can only basically count on themselves on those medicines that they had back in the day when Kherson region was not yet occupied. Talking about the doctors, the majority of the medics, according to our calculations, about 90% of all of the medics and doctors, medical specialists left the area. People mostly go to Crimea, but again, even there, the majority of the hospitals are equipped into military hospitals where the enemy delivers their wounded soldiers. Thank you very much. Let's give an opportunity to our journalists to ask their questions. Good afternoon, Olga Apanasenko, Ukrinform. For what I remember, Kherson region was either one of the first regions where the enemy started systemically using drone terror against the civilians. We started hearing news about people riding bicycles and being attacked by UAVs, or people gathered in a cemetery and being attacked by a drone. Is there a statistic of the civilians who were killed by the drone strikes, and whether there are any ideas on how people can defend themselves against such enemy attacks? Well, quite an interesting question. Honestly, we don't have such statistics no such statistics by the drones, but last such case was when the head of the community of Starosvatovo, who helps to other communities, just like the other heads of other communities who help the heads of the communities in the East Bank. So this head of the community was attacked by a drone. He is currently in the hospital. Unfortunately, it happens all the time in those places along the current of Dnipro River. We understand that it's countermeasures electronic countermeasures capabilities that can prevent such drone attacks, but they are all currently in the front lines working for our defenders, but to defend the whole shoreline of Kherson region, well, unfortunately we don't have sufficient funds to cover all the area with the electronic countermeasures capabilities, and for what I know, currently there is no solution for this problem so far. Thank you very much, Mr. Oleksandr. Let me remind everybody we were talking about the enemy shelling of Kherson region, and Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform will be back in operation next week. Thank you for staying tuned. Glory to Ukraine.